Why do we use PVC pipe for imprinting? I'm going to get to that question in just a second. First, my name is Jason Purgason. I'm the president of Highland Canine Training. I've got over 30 years of experience training all sorts of detection dogs, bomb dogs, drug dogs, cadaver dogs, you name it. We've probably done it at least once. So we get this question a lot, right? Why do we use a PVC pipe for imprinting? And it's a great question. However, there's a little bit of terminology that we really need to kind of deep dive on for just a few minutes here to kind of understand why we use a pipe for imprinting. The first one is, what is imprinting, right? That's the first question we really need to ask, and that's the question that we're going to need to understand. Imprinting, simply put, is a deliberate effort to pair reinforcers with target odor in a way that creates fluency, right? So now we've wound up on another term that we're going to have to talk about. What is fluency? When we talk about fluency, what do we mean? Well, when we talk about fluency as it pertains to odor and it pertains to detection dogs, what we're talking about specifically here is the dog's ability to understand every single component available in the headspace of that particular target odor. That's critically important. If the dog doesn't understand all of those available components, then they're going to have failures in training. They're going to have failures operationally. So it's critically important that they understand every single component available in the headspace of that material. So how do we get there? Well, we've got to get there a number of different ways. Number one, we've got to pair, again, this target odor with all of its available components available at a level that are detectable to the dog. That's number one. Number two, we've got to do it in a way that we create an affinity for this odor. The third thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do it for a very specific period of time. Now, we did some research. It's been about 10 years ago. Our research wanted to answer the question of how long does it take to imprint a dog on one odor? Why did we do the research? Well, to put this short, there are a lot of people at the time in the industry making lots of different claims about how they could imprint a bomb dog on 15 odors, and they could do it in a 45-minute training session. A few months later, there was some other claim that somebody could do it in 30 minutes and then 20 minutes, and this race just continued on and on and on. That raised a big question for me. Can we actually imprint a dog in such a short period of time? And the answer, what we found out later, was you absolutely can't. What our research showed, and we spent months doing this, and we did it across 10 different dogs, different breeds, different sexes, all pre-selected police dogs, green from Europe. And what we found out was that in order for a dog to be fluent, again, fluency indicates that the dog understands all of the available components that are in the headspace of that particular material. It took somewhere between 60 and 75 minutes of contact with odor. When we're talking contact, what do we mean? We mean that that dog basically has this pipe with parent odor inside in their mouth for 60 to 75 minutes. So why are we using a pipe? Well, we're going to get that contact time in 60 to 75 minutes. We're going to create that affinity that we talked about. And what we're going to do is we're simply going to put our target odor inside a PVC pipe. Why do we use PVC? Well, the Schedule 40 PVC has some of the lowest VOCs of most of your plastics on the market, right? So what we know about PVC is in regards to odor, it's not bringing much to the equation. As such, it's given an opportunity for our training aids that are inside to kind of overwhelm this scent picture in a way that the dog's gonna create this association with our target odor and not some substrate. So how are we gonna do it? Well, we're simply gonna engage this dog. We're gonna engage this dog using two primary reinforcers, right? The first one, social interaction. Second one, play. Are we doing a lot of fetching with this dog? No, not really. But we're engaging with the dog. We're building a relationship with the dog. We're allowing the dog to do fun things, get involved, get engaged, and have fun with the person working with them. And they're going to have this thing in their mouth the whole time. Building that affinity for parent odor and giving the dog the opportunity to become fluent is what's going to create that foundation for all of our further training. Everything from behavior shaping all the way to skills training, even into more complex operational problems down the road. Now, when we talk about imprinting, it's kind of important, I think, for us to take a minute and understand that when we're doing imprinting with a dog, the only thing that we're trying to accomplish is to develop this affinity for target odor and create fluency. We're not asking the dog to do anything else, and that's incredibly important. We're not asking the dog to begin to build a behavior. We're not asking them to hunt. We're not asking them to do operational searches, skills training, none of that. We see way too often in the industry that people are taking these steps, and these are very distinct steps that we've separated to train detection dogs, and they're kind of lumping them all together. And when we lump those all together, we reduce our opportunity to provide the dog the clarity needed to fully understand what it is that we're asking for. Again, we want to create fluency, and the way that we're going to do it and the way that we're going to create that clarity is we're going to do it through one odor at a time, right? We're going to imprint this dog and teach it one odor at a time. We're talking fluency, all the components available in the headspace of that material. And that's important because we wouldn't teach a kid to read if they only knew 6 or 8 letters of the alphabet, right? We want to make sure they understand the entire alphabet before they begin to read. Same with our detection dogs. We want to know that they understand all the components available in the headspace of this material before we start asking them to find this odor in some of those more complex problems, and we begin to behavior shape on it. So I've mentioned odor fluency in regards to imprinting a couple times here. So, again, why is that critical? It's critical for a number of reasons. If the dog understands all of the available components in that headspace, it's going to help them immensely in every single thing they do, right? So when we're talking about things like high hides, deep hides, large hides, right? When we're training a dog on a training aid that's 10 grams, 20 grams, and then we present that same dog, right, with 20, 30 pounds, 30, 40 kilos of the same material, what we found is that dog's likely to struggle with it. Well, if the dog's fluent in all the components available in the headspace, they're going to have way better opportunities to find those larger hides in addition to those smaller quantities as well. So that's going to be important for us moving down the road. The other thing we're going to find is when we put target odor in various substrates, we're creating complex problems. Odor fluency is what's going to create that situation for that dog to be successful. As I mentioned, we're going to teach one odor at a time. Super important. Research has shown that stew method, cocktail method is not ideal best practice for imprinting and training dogs on target odors. We're going to save that, cover it in a later video.